Mika Madness, and I'm your host for all things horror right here on the Bronx couch. I grew up watching iconic horror movies ever since I was a little girl, and my mom first took me to the movie theaters to see Pet Sematary in the Bronx. I must have been traumatized or something after that because I could not go to sleep for years. But I often wondered what it would be like if me and my friends were in that universe. So I put together a list of my favorite games that evoke the feeling of some classic horror flicks. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is based off of the 1970s movie of the same name and nails the aesthetic and feel of this movie very well. From faithfully recreating large aspects of locations from the film while simultaneously adding some artistic flair to balance gameplay, the attention to detail here cannot be understated. Sound is very important because if you're out there making too much noise as a victim, you're going to get yourself killed. And as a killer, you're seriously going to hamper your plans for success. And yes, you heard me correctly. You can play as the killers, including the legendary Leatherface with his iconic chainsaw to boot. Communication is key as the killers or the victims.
Oh yeah, right there.
Left. You're gonna go to the left.
This way? Yep.
Yes.
Left. Keep it. Yeah.
Left.
Left. Walk straight.
Make a right.
Walk across. Don't
Don't fall.
Making this game a truly co-op asymmetrical experience. Instead of just one killer to deal with, the victims have to contend with 3 killers. And let me tell you something, when you have 3 on 4 as a victim, you feel all the anxiety. But when you part a gang and there's just one victim, well, the feeling of that kill feels pretty unparalleled. Hunt as the killers and escape as the victims. Easier said than done on both sides due to multiple perks and items available for each character. I highly recommend TCM as a must-play for horror fans. For me, Aliens have become one of the most influential films in horror, and a lot of folks would agree with me when I say that it's one of the best sequels in film history. But whenever there was a game that would come out based on the IP, it didn't really do too well and people didn't really like it because it focused too much on either the action or the survival horror exclusively. Space Beast Terror Fright mashes both of these things together so well that this is the only true Aliens game that has been made in my opinion. I said what I said. The fact that this game is not associated in any way with the movie or 20th Century Fox should be embarrassing for studios that have had the Aliens licenses and completely shit the bed. Anyway, Space Beast Terror Fright pits you against extremely fast and deadly aliens that can kill you in one hit. Your mission is to download data cores that will improve your suit and weapons, drain coolant to overload the core, and get back to your dropship before the ship explodes. You can run this game solo or with up to 3 more players. The game has randomly generated levels, permadeath, and local split-screen co-op, in addition to online co-op, which is extremely rare in this day and age. This game has created so many hilarious and terrifying moments with me and my friends, and that's because friendly fire is on by default, which means when you are in a crowded, dark environment and you can't see anything, you're either yelling lines from the movie itself or you're killing your best friends in a panic frenzy. I highly recommend this game to horror fans looking for some action to spice up their survival horror. So, as a recent mom, I gotta be careful about what I play in front of my little one and make sure that it's not too gory or bloody because I'm not trying to raise no little Dexter. Gunya Monsters allows me to get my horror-ish fix in a heavily stylized cartoonish world. Gunya Monsters is an asymmetrical co-op game where one player plays as a monster and 3 other players play as busters. The busters must defeat the undead with their blasters and take their souls to a central location, while the monster's job is to stop them from collecting souls by eating them. This game can be played online, but in a very welcome surprise, it can also be played local co-op split screen. Although it might not be considered true horror for our more mature audience, for family-friendly fun, it's definitely a good time. And the cartoonish depiction of the undead is really cute. It makes sure that our kids can watch us play without having never-ending nightmares, which is very possible due to the simple control scheme and goal. I suggest horror fans give this a chance, especially if you have a mini monster that you can mold to take up your mantle. We're at the end of my list, but let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Until then, keep the lights on.